Today lecture number 5. In lecture number 5, we will be going through the another method of planning, that means construction planning, that is CPM and PERT. So these are two type of methods, CPM or PERT. CPM is critical path method and PERT is project evaluation and the review technique. So first of all, as in earlier lecture, we have gone through the bar chart, how to prepare a bar chart, what are the various type of information which we can make available through bar chart. Now, steps which we have followed in preparing a bar chart, let us recall it. First of all, we will be dividing the project into various activities. So if there is a project, it may be a small project. First of all, using the breakdown structure methodology, first of all, we will be divide the project into various activities which are well recognizable activities. Then second step will be we will be list out all those activities. So we will be preparing a list of all the activities. Then we will find out interrelationship between them. That means what is the relation between activity 1, activity 2, activity 3, etc. Whether they are independent activity or whether they are dependent activity. So that we will be framing out. Then we will be arranging the activities in a systematic way so that we can organize them into a bar chart. Then we can calculate the quantity of work to be done in each activity. That means how much portion of the work will be covered by the completion of that activity. Then accordingly, we will be allotting the time required to complete that activity. So that means one activity, how much time it requires, so that we can work out what will be the total project duration. Then we will draw a simple bar chart for the evaluation and the planning purpose, so that we can evaluate all the activities as well as the execution of the project, completion of the project, duration of the project, all these type of information which we can just work out from the bar chart available with us. Then finding out the project duration from this bar chart. Now there are some limitations of the bar chart, due to which we have to switch over to another type of method, that is CPM or PERT. So very first limitation is bar chart can only be used for small type of projects, because if there is a bigger project, then definitely number of activity will increase, and as the number of activity will increase, then if we present them in the form of a bar chart, then bar chart will be very much complicated. So it will be very difficult to analyze whole project. Second is, it does not give any information about the interdependency between various activity in the project. Interrelationship we can find out, but interdependency, that means if there is activity 3, that whether that activity depends upon activity 1 or 2. So clear information is very much difficult to work out from the bar chart. Progress of work cannot be monitored scientifically. So that means we are unable to clearly define or clearly evaluate how much is the progress in the work. Delay in work cannot be detected. So this is one of the limitation. That means if there is any delay in the work, then we will not be able to evaluate. It does not indicate the critical activity of the project. Now, if a project may have number of activities, then some of the activities are very critical activities. Critical activity in the sense That means if that activity get delayed, then it will influence the whole project length. That means if that activity which can directly influence the project, so then it will be considered as critical activity. No financial information is available in the bar chart. That means finances are not involved in the bar chart. We are unable to present any financial requirement, or we can find unable to find out the financial requirement from the bar chart. Bar chart cannot be used as a tool because there are various limitations in the bar chart. So we can say the bar chart cannot be used as a tool or as a device by the project manager to take only timely action, because there are various limitations. Because if the delay in the project is not detected, then project manager will be helpless to control any type of delay in the project. So to overcome all these type of limitations, no doubt bar chart is very easy to construct and very easy to plan in case of small size projects, but in bigger projects it will not be helpful, so it will have some limitations. And to overcome all limitations, another method has been in practice, that is critical path method, that is CPM, and project evaluation and review technique PERT. So project evaluation and review, all these and as well as critical activities, we are able to consider as well as evaluate in CPM and PERT type of methodology. Now what is basically critical path method and PERT, project evaluation and a review technique? So in PERT system, we will be drawing a network of various activities, etc. So a system to draw a network diagram for a project which consists of events which must be established to achieve the project objective. So that means later on we will understand what is the meaning of event. So PERT system is a networking drawing system where we can draw any network based on the various type of events. These events are joined by arrows. So there may be number of events. Now let us understand what is an event. An event is that particular instant of time. Now it is not activity, it is different from activity. It is that particular instant of time at which some specific part of a plan is to be achieved. It indicates a point in time and does not require any resources for it. So that means event is basically instant of time. Later on you will be able to understand. That means we can say just start of project. Now start of project is instant of time. Completion of project, start of an activity, completion of an activity. So these are instant of time and they are termed as events. Now let us take a very simple example for a project called boundary wall construction. Now if you are to construct a boundary wall, so that will become a small project, and for this how to draw the network and what is actually events in this. So then we will say wall foundation layout started. So that is a time event. So it will be known as event. Another example we can say when foundation is excavated. So that will be event. Now it is not an activity because foundation excavated mean work has been done. So it will indicate only a point of time or instant of time. Similarly, masonry work started, masonry work completed, plastering of wall started, and plastering of wall completed. So it is only indicating or giving the information a start of activity or a completion of activity. That means it points out towards the instant of time So these are termed as events. And the term used for activities. Now, activity, if you say excavation of foundation, so excavation of foundation is an activity. Start of excavation of foundation or completion of excavation of foundation, that will be event. So events are connected by activities, or you can say activities are connected by events. Similarly, laying of PCC, it is one type of activity. So if there is any foundation work, then what are the various activities we have to first of all enlist, then all those activities will be connected with the help of events with each other. Now in CPM, that means critical path method. Its name is known as critical path method. In CPM network, the project consists of activities. Now if you see here in PERT, project consists of events, but in CPM, project consists of activities which are well defined. Now if you take the example of laying of PCC, so it is well defined in itself. That means what is the meaning of laying of PCC? And recognizable jobs takes time to carry out and use resources. Now laying of PCC or excavation of foundation, it will take some time. That means how many days or how many hours or how many weeks you have to take to complete the excavation of foundation, and what are the various type of resources. Resources may be just like manpower, labor, material, etc. So activity will give you the information about the duration as well as use of the resources, but event is just giving you an instant of time information. So activities are connected by events. So now you are able to understand what is the difference between activity and event. So activities are connected by events. Now let us see this figure. Here we have shown two type of circles or ovules, that mean A and B. So A is an event, B is an event. A is the start of this activity and B is completion of this activity. So this red color arrow which is connecting two events, that is known as activity. Here we will point out which is activity, whether it is activity excavation of foundation. So you can start, that means event A will be start of excavation and completion of excavation will be B. So A and B are giving you some time, instant of time when excavation start, instant of time when excavation completed. And the process excavation is an activity. So activities are connected by events, and this is the way of presentation of that means how we will represent an activity by an arrow and event by any circle or any square type of shape. Below the activity, below this arrow which is showing any activity, duration can be written. That means if we write here 5 days, so that means this activity will take 5 days. From start of activity and completion of activity, it will take 5 days. So activities are connected by events. Activities has a well defined time duration, yes, as cost as well as requirement of resources. So all the information will be available. Activity is represented by an arrow. Now this will be the head of the arrow and this will be the tail of the arrow. So tail of the arrow will give you the start of activity. That means it will indicate an event, that is start of activity, and head direction will be giving you the information that in which direction this activity is going on, and B will give you the completion of the activity. So again, this is the basic difference between event as well as activity. Now few definitions which we must be clear to avoid any type of confusion while planning. Now first of all, some activities will be called as parallel activities. So what are parallel activities which can be performed simultaneously and independently? Second is serial activities, activities which are to be performed one after another. Predecessor activity, it is that activity which need to be performed before the commencement of another activity. As excavation of the foundation is one activity, that will be the predecessor activity to the other activity, that is laying of PCC, because laying of PCC can only be happen after the excavation of the foundation. So excavation of foundation will be predecessor activity, and the laying of the PCC will be the successor activity, because it will be succeeding the excavation of the foundation. So activity that can be performed after the performance of another activity. Then there is another type of activity that is known as dummy activity. Dummy activity is an activity, or you can say it is an imaginary activity, which neither require any time nor any resource, but only used to identify the dependency of one activity on the other activity. That means this activity may not be related to directly with other activity, but till the previous activity is completed, this activity you can start. Now from this network diagram, which is connecting 7 number of activities, now this 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 number of activities are connected by 7 events. Now first event, it may be start of the project, and 7 event will be the completion of the project. In between, all activities are connected. Now if you see here, this activity which is connecting two event 1 and 2, and similarly another activity which is connected by two event 1 and 3. Now these two activities are starting simultaneously from the same time, but they are proceeding independent. Their duration may be independent. That means 1 2 activity, we will say this activity as 1 2 activity. This will be 1 3 activity. So duration of 1 2 activity may be differ from duration of 1 3 activity, but they are running parallel to each other and starting from the same time. So then activity number 1 2 and activity number 2 4, these activities are known as serial activity because they can be performed after one another. Now activity 2 4 can only be performed when activity 1 2 has been completed, otherwise it cannot be proceeded. So these are serial activity. Now here activity 2 4 will be the successor activity, this will be the successor activity, and activity 1 2 will be the predecessor activity. So we will say activity 1 2 is predecessor activity for activity number 2 4, or you can say activity 2 4 is successor activity of activity number 1 2. Now you see here one dotted line. So this dotted line is basically a dummy activity. Now this dummy activity, that means it is very much clear that activity 3 5 can begin only after the completion of activity 1 2. So they are not connected, but at start of this activity depends upon the completion, or you can say it will third event or 3 5 activity can only start when activity 1 2 has been completed. So this type of connection, this activity 2 3 which we have shown, it is a dummy activity. It don't have any duration and it will not consume any type of resources. So this is the procedure of planning any project by method CPM and PERT, so you can easily understand it more clearly. Thank you.